Elite Facts presents
12 Random Mysteries About Life.
12.
Why so wimpy? If you shaved a chimpanzee and took a photo of its body from the neck to the waist, at first glance you wouldn't really notice that it isn't human. That's according to Kevin Hunt, director of the Human Origins and Primate Evolution Lab at Indiana University. The two species' musculature is extremely similar, but somehow, pound for pound, Hunt says that chimps are between 2 and 3 times stronger than humans. It's unclear why we're so much wimpier than our closest hominid relatives. Perhaps our muscles' attachment points subtly differ, or our muscle fibers could be less dense. Either way, the result is slightly humiliating. Once, in an African forest, Hunt watched an 85-pound female chimp snap branches off an aptly named ironwood tree with her fingertips. It took Hunt 2 hands and all the strength he could muster to snap one equally thick branch.
11.
On the other hand, 9 out of 10 people are right-handed. More mysterious than the dearth of southpaws is the fact that humans have dominant hands in the first place. Why just one hand with top-notch motor skills instead of a double dose of dexterity? One theory holds that handedness results from having more intricate wiring on the side of the brain involved in speech, which also requires fine motor skills. Because the speech center usually sits in the left brain hemisphere, the side wired to the right side of the body, the right hand ends up dominant in most people. However, this theory gets a big blow from the fact that not all right-handed people control speech in the left hemisphere, while half of lefties do. Perplexing.
10.
Why do we sleep? While we do know that the human body is regulated by a circadian clock that keeps humans on a sleep-wake cycle, we don't really know why. Sleep is the time when our bodies repair tissues and perform other maintenance activities, and we spend nearly a third of our lives snoozing. Some other organisms don't need sleep at all, so why do we? There are a few different ideas out there, but none seem to solidly answer the question. Some theorize that animals who are able to sleep have evolved the ability to hide from predators, while others who need to remain more alert are able to rest and regenerate in other ways without fully going to sleep. While scientists don't quite know why we do it, they are starting to learn more about why it is important and how sleep impacts important things like brain plasticity. We'll have to sleep on this one.
9.
How did life begin? Where did life on Earth come from? How did it happen? Those who believe in the primordial soup model believe that a nutrient-rich early Earth eventually formed increasingly complex molecules that gave rise to life. This could have taken place in the deep ocean vents, in clay, or under ice. Different models also give variable levels of importance to the presence of lightning or volcanic activity for the spawn of life. While DNA is the predominant basis for life on Earth now, it has been suggested that RNA could have dominated the first life forms. Additionally, other scientists question whether other nucleic acids aside from RNA or DNA may have once existed. Did life spawn just once, or is it possible that it was created, wiped out, and then restarted? Some believe in panspermia, in which microbial life was brought to Earth via meteorites or comets. Even if that is true, it doesn't answer the question of how that life originated.
8.
How do animals migrate? Many animals and insects migrate throughout the year in order to escape changing seasonal temperatures and the waning resources that come with it, or to find mates. Some of these migrations can reach thousands of kilometers in one direction, so how do they find their way back and back again year after year? Different animals use different navigational tools, including some who are able to tap into the Earth's magnetic field and use themselves like a compass. However, scientists still don't know how this trait evolved or how untrained animals know exactly where to go season after season.
7.
Laughter. It's still unclear what exactly makes a person laugh and have fun. After all, senses of humor differ. Scientists believe that laughter is necessary to balance the mental processes, such as to relieve stress, worrying, and angst. Laughter produces natural intoxicating substances, endorphins, and antidepressants.
6.
Altruism. Living for others is a unique, innate feature of humans. What makes people help others without any benefit? Scientists think that altruism is required when choosing a partner in both men and women. Devotion to others makes a person more attractive in the eyes of the opposite sex. Parenting is a very complex process, and our ancestors tried to choose a partner that would become a good and devoted parent. A manifestation of selflessness shows this ability in the best way, so genes related to altruism could be retained in the process of evolutionary selection.
5,
Prolonged adolescence. Even in our closest relatives, the great apes, the transition from adolescence to adulthood is not so long. In chimpanzees, sexual maturity occurs at the age of about 5 years old, when the childhood ends. In humans, the period of adolescence lasts from 11 to 20 years. Why? Well, according to scientists, the teenage period is a late historical acquisition. The duration of puberty depends on the level of social development. The higher it is, the wider the band is between the end of puberty and the onset of final maturity. 4. Dreams. Our ancestors firmly believed that during sleep, a person's soul temporarily left the body to wander the world, and we dream the things our soul sees in its journey. Later, the Austrian psychiatrist Sigmund Freud suggested that dreams are a reflection of our unconscious desires. But today, most scientists reject it, claiming that dreams occur in our brain as a result of random electrical activity. Every 90 minutes, the brainstem randomly sends electrical impulses. Forebrain, responsible for analytical work, desperately tries to decode these signals, and the only way to do that is to have dreams. However, they are not completely useless. Psychologists think that dreams are a way to better understand ourselves and explore our hidden desires and fears. Also, dreams probably facilitate the transfer of information obtained during the day from short-term to long-term memory.
3,
Sneezing when we look at bright lights. About 35% of the population sneeze when looking at the sun or bright lights, which is why the so-called old wives' tale, to look at the sun when you want to sneeze, is so popular. It's called reflexive sneezing, and it can be induced by changes in the intensity of light or from flickering lights. Having said that, no one knows exactly why or how this is so.
2,
Why do we yawn? Why do we yawn when we see someone else doing it? Why do we yawn when we're bored? You're probably yawning right now just listening to me yammering on about yawning. Well, yawning is an involuntary action that causes our mouth to open wide to breathe more deeply. So it makes sense that the action is all about trying to get more oxygen in and also remove the buildup of carbon dioxide. There's also an evolutionary theory stating that our ancestors, early man, used to yawn to show their teeth and frighten predators, as do dogs. Though we seem to yawn while we're bored, this theory doesn't hold up because that's not always the case and doesn't explain why one person yawning sets off a chain reaction.
1,
The brain. How do 100 trillion neural connectors in our brain work together so that we can feel alive? Many great minds think that consciousness is the biggest mystery of our body. Neuroscientist V.S. Ramachandran once remarked, quote, "The brain of any creature, including yours, is made up of atoms that billions of years ago were part of a massive star. These particles drifted for many years and endured incredible distances before gravity and randomness put them together. These atoms are now a conglomerate, your brain, which can not only think of these stars, but also the ability to think about the most complex things, as well as its ability to be surprised to be surprised. With the advent of the human universe, suddenly became aware of herself. This is the biggest mystery of all."
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.